Hey guys, this is Rick with Sawyer Custom Crafts, and today I want to take an opportunity to show you how to build this little rustic ornament holder. This will be a great addition to your home this year as you're getting ready to prepare for Christmas, or if you're looking for an item to sell in your shop or maybe at a market. This is a great seller. So if either of those sound interesting to you, stick around and I'll show you how I built it.
Okay, just a quick note that I do have these plans available on my website if you want them in written form. But we're gonna get started with cutting the 1 by 10, and I'm really just gonna cut it so that it's square. So it's gonna end up being 9 1/4 inches by 9 1/4 inches. And then you're going to move on to cutting your 2 by 2s. Now, of course, you can make this any size that you want. I cut it so that it ends up being, the total thing ends up being 24 inches. I don't know, that seems to work well. So I cut this 2 by 2 to 23 1/4 inches. And that way, when you add the 3/4 inch 1 by on the bottom, you get the 24 inches. Now, you'll need those dowels, but if you'll notice, I got that dowel from Lowe's, and that is a curvy little dude there. So do better job than I did when you pick your dowels and make sure they're straight. Now I'm marking the spots where I'm going to cut the holes. And in the plans, you'll see there I have those kind of designated so that it's easy to follow. But really, I'm just adding them along the 2 by 2 so that you're going to have kind of a good spacing along both sides. And now what I'm doing is I'm just finding the exact center of that 2 by 2 so that the dowels are going to be in the center. And when you're done, you're going to have 6 dowels coming total. And then I'm just marking those holes with a little center punch that makes the drill bit a little easier to go straight. Now, I'm gonna drill these first with a hand drill just to show you that you can do it. And it's really no problem at all. If you're doing a hand drill, you just want to make sure you keep it as straight as possible. I have a drill press, so I'm going to use it. And I'm going to use 2 bits. The first one is really just a pilot hole, and it's just really whatever you have as a pilot bit to drill down into the board, that 2 by 2 for the first time. And that's going to do a couple of things for you. Number one, it's going to make a cleaner hole when you're done, but really what it's going to do is it's going to make it so that when you switch to that bigger drill bit, it stays straighter. So it's really going to give that bigger bit a path to follow. So that's all I'm doing there is just drilling with that pilot hole, and then I'm gonna switch that out here in just a second for that larger bit, and you'll see me switch that over here in just a second. But I'm just drilling those marks where they go there and following where we placed them while ago.
Hey guys, just wanted to break in for one quick second and remind you that if you would prefer to have the written plans for these projects, I do have those available on our website. So be sure to check those out. I'll leave a link in the description for you. Other than that, let's get back to the build.
All right, so now I'm gonna switch that drill bit over so that we can put the actual size bit into it. Keep in mind that whatever dowel you end up purchasing or using is really gonna dictate the size of the drill bit. And a lot of times the drill bit or the dowels aren't the exact size they say they are, so you may have to adjust a little bit. In the plans, we're going to use 5/16 inch dowels, and what I found is a drill bit that's 23/64 works really well. It allows the dowel, when it's all said and done, to slide through just about perfect. So I'm gonna just get those holes drilled and larger, and I'm just, we drilled it with that pilot bit earlier, so I'm just following that through and re-drilling that. Now I'm only drilling about 3/4 of the way through in one face, and then I'll flip it over and drill the rest, and that kind of keeps the tear out from being as bad as it could be. Now I'm gonna cut the contour on the 2 by 2. So what I've done is I've set the saw to 45 degrees, and I've measured a 1/2 inch and marked a line on my 2x2. And now I'm going to use a stop block and make it to where it's going to be right where that saw hits. But you see, I cut, but I didn't cut all the way through. Now, if you have a height adjustment on your saw, you can set that. But I just didn't cut all the way through. And that's how you're going to get this contour. So I cut it and then I've rotated it and I'm going to cut it again. And I'll do that for the remaining three sides. And then when you're done, uh, it should give you a pretty nice little, I'll try to show you here. Yeah, focus a pretty nice little kind of pyramid shaped top. And it just makes it look kind of neat. So anyway, you don't have to do that, but it does help out a little bit. And now what I'm doing with the tape is really, I'm just picking which side of that lumber is the best looking side, and the best looking side will be the top. And I put a piece of tape on the bottom so that as I'm routing it, it's just a visual cue for me. You know, if I see the tape, I know I've got it routed the right way. I'm going to use a starter pin. If you don't have one of those, I'd highly suggest it on your router table, especially for something like this. It'll keep it from when you route something. If you don't have that pin, then it would slam it against, or it could slam it against that wall, and it gets kind of sketchy. So that's helpful there. And now I've got it routed, so I'm gonna find the midpoint of these the bases here, and I'll use that little center punch to do that. But again, the plans are available on the website, and as you can tell, I use them. You know, I designed them, but I still use the plans, so it helps me. So maybe it'll help you if you like to have the plans. So now I'm drilling the hole that's going to go all the way through the center of that one by. You can see right there, we just went all the way through the center. Now this is kind of optional. Just going to use it looks fancy, but it's really not. It's just a Forstner bit, a 1/2 inch Forstner bit, and I'm drilling a 1/2 inch, or I'm sorry, a 1/4 inch recess, just so that eventually the screw that we install later on won't show. Now I found the center of that, and let me pause right here just for a second. I'm going to use two things for this next part. The first one is a dowel kit, and the second one is an easy lock threaded insert, and I'll put both of those in the description. I'll tell you the dowel kit, all I'm going to use it for, and you'll see me here in just a second. This what I'm just going to use it to drill a straight hole, and that is again what that is right there. And you'll see me put it on, and uh, all that I'm going to use it for is to help me. So you don't have to have that. If you have it, it does help a lot. The threaded insert kit, I would suggest that if you're going to make these and sell them, because you'll be able to take them apart and ship them flat, which will save you a lot of money, and it'll actually help you lower the price that you have to charge for these things. So I'm using that dowel kit right there, and I'm just setting it so that the center is going to be right where I want it, or as close as it can be. Put a piece of tape on the drill bit that I'm going to use, which is coming from the Easy Lock, and I just drill that hole. Now that right there is part of that Easy Lock kit. It's the little tool that I'm going to use to install the threaded inserts. And you see that's what that is. That bit is just going to go into your drill, and it'll allow you to install that straight into your piece of lumber. So that's what I'm doing right there, is I'll just install that in to where it's flush. And then that's it. And now you have the ability to install a 8/32 threaded, or I'm sorry, 8/32 screw, and you can put that together and take it apart all you want. And if you're just gonna, use it for yourself, you can either decide to just screw it together with a screw, or if you want to go ahead and use that threaded insert and screw, you can, use this thing during Christmas, then take it apart and store it and do it again next year. So it's helpful. So now I'm just sanding all of the pieces. You're going to see there's a lot of pieces there, and the reason you don't need all those pieces, the reason why all of those are there is because I'm making quite a few of these at one time. It just really helps with my efficiency to make more than one. And these things do sell pretty well. They're simple, but we've had folks buy them that just want them for their Christmas ornaments. Some people buy them that are makers that are selling these things at local markets, and they like to display them like this. I had one fella buy them that has a Star Wars ornament collection, and he wanted a way to display them, so he bought one of these. So they do sell. Now, what I'm doing right there is I'm going to sand the dowels. So this is just the easiest way that I found to do it, and I just kind of chalk up my orbital sander upside down in a little clamp vise, and that way I can actually bring the dowel to the sander instead of the sander to the dowel. And I'm just spinning that in my hand, and I'm using a 120 grit paper, and I'll show you what it looks like a little better here in just a second. So it just kind of makes it, gives it a little shape, but actually what it does too is it helps it to slide in easier for your customers or for you if you're making these for yourself. So it just gives that little shape so it slides in a little easier. And here's a little better look of what that will look like. You can see they're just, it's nothing fancy, nothing fancy. It's just shaped on the end a little bit. So once you get that done, you're pretty much done. We're going to stain it. I'm going to speed up the video a little bit. We're using, I want to say that's dark walnut stain from Minwax. So it produces a light, nice dark contrast. So we'll stain the top and the bottom, and of course um, the the 2x2. And we use little Q-tips to stain inside the hole just to make it nice. And then of course you'll let that dry for quite a while. And then when you're done, you'll put it together, which is what we're going to do right here. So you'll put it together. And it's not hard. Now I'm going to add little rubber. They're actually like cabinet door bumpers, and I don't know. You don't have to do that. It just helps. I apply some super glue on it just to make sure they don't come off. They do have their own adhesive, but I found it comes off. So I'm going to use an 8/32 by 3/4 inch screw, and that's going to hold those two things together. And now we're just sliding in the dowels, and that's pretty much the project here. Now you've got a nice little kind of rustic farmhouse Christmas tree to add your ornaments to. And I'll show you a few little finished images here of what we've done with them and some of our customers have done with them. So they're pretty neat little guys. This one was painted white. If you paint them white, you have to drill your hose again just to allow for the paint. But anyway, it's a pretty fun little project. Sells pretty well. Looks really great for Christmas. Again, there are plans available, and we'd love to visit with you and talk with you on our website. So if there's any way we can help, let us know. But thanks so much again for watching the video. I really appreciate it. If you found some value, don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments if you've made these things, or really if you would like to see me come up with a video on something kind of Christmassy. Just let me know. I'd love to hear what you have in mind. Thanks again so much, guys. Until next time, have a great day. God bless.